Good morning, Facebook. I am back with another live. I am trying really hard to hold still so you can see this title. I'm going to be talking about using tables to help your research. Just going to give it a minute, let people show up. Turn off my notifications. Okay. Let's see, let me flip this around for a second. Good morning. So, happy Friday. It is beautiful-ish here in Salt Lake, very fall weather, and I'm really looking forward to the weekend. And I wanted to, oh my goodness, my hair. I was just going to give you a couple more updates. I was thinking yesterday that I've been all mysterious about, new pages are coming out, and not telling you what the new pages are, but it's not exactly like the Oscars or anything. I don't know. There's no reason really for it to be a secret. The pages that I'm working on right now, I'm finally getting the left-handed pages out in the full bundles, in the USA and international bundles. So that means that the color bar is on the right side and the title for the page is on the left side. And that way you can have double-sided books, or if you're left-handed, you can have a whole left-handed book. The reason it's taking forever is because I'm silly and I made bundles in 23 different colors, and I have 2 different bundles that are 200 pages. So I have to do 200 pages times 23 colors for both the USA and the international. And it's just taking a while. I would love it if I could have had them out in the shop today. I'd love to be able to promise them on Monday. I will tell you that they will be in the shop sometime next week. And then I have a couple other small pages that are coming out. I can go over more of those in different videos, but I'll talk about one of them today. So let me flip this and see if I can get this set up so you can watch me work. Not that I don't mind when you guys just stare at my face, but I think this is going to be, oh goodness, I think this is going to be more helpful. Okay. Can you get that? Can you? All right. Let's talk about using tables. So this is the census comparison page. Many of you have it. It's included in, I know it's in the US bundle. I can't remember if it's in the other one. And I've had some questions about how to use it. So I've done little quick tutorials, sort of one-on-one with people. But basically, this is a page where you're using a table to organize your research. And instead of showing you how to use this page first, I'm actually going to show you how to just use tables, blank tables. So you can make tables in any kind of word processing program. I made this one in Pages. You can also just get out a piece of paper and draw a table. I love using tables for genealogy. So if you haven't learned this trick, I think you're gonna like this. Let me see if this pen works. Okay, so you can use tables for lots of different things, but I love to use tables to compare records and to track people through different records. So let's actually talk about census records. That's what this page is for, but I'm going to show you how to do it on a blank page first, just in case you don't have the other one. Okay, so let's make up a person. So let's say we have Oscar Smith, and Oscar Smith is on the 1870 census, okay? So we have, let's see, census. I'm just going off of the US Census in our little hypothetical world, 1870. And let's say that year is the first year that we see Oscar Smith, and let's say we know it's him and his wife, okay? And you know what, off the top of my head, I feel like they're named. Now I can't even remember if people are named in the 1870 census outside of the head of household. I wish I could find a genealogy friend. Let's pretend that they're named. My lack of knowledge in the 1870 census should not make any difference as to whether or not you understand this. Okay, so I've got Oscar Smith, and let's say his wife is named, and it's just the 2 of them, and let's call her Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen Smith. Now, you could just do that. That would be fine. What I actually like to do for census information, mostly because it helps me track children, is I like to add a birth date. So let's say he was born, I can't even remember again. I cannot remember if this is on the 1870 census. So I apologize. Let's say he was born in 1848, and she was born in 1854. Okay, so the next time we see the two of them is on the 1880 census. So in this column, census 1880. We've got Oscar Smith again. His name is the same. And let's say they're estimating that he was born in 1850. And let's say this time she's actually just listed as Ellen. I like to do this because, as people's names change, sometimes it helps if you're not really sure, okay, is this a new Ellen? Is this a new wife? Is this, this is why this is helpful. And let's say they've said that she is born in 1855. We can look at this and know that these are probably the same people. Let's say they also have 3 children by then. We'll say Henry Smith, born in 1871. Elizabeth Smith in 1875. And we'll do I'm totally drawing a blank, a David Smith. I make up so many fake people for these examples that I actually have a hard time coming up with names sometimes. Okay, that's everybody listed on the 1880 census. They are not lucky enough to be in the very small group of people for whom the 1890 census still exists, so we have to jump forward to the 1900 census. So we've got census 1900. Now, Oscar is still the same. We're lucky in that there's not a lot of nicknames and variants of the word Oscar. He's being listed with a birth date of 1850. Let's say his wife is now listed as Mary Ellen, all one word. But we're pretty sure that it's the same person, so we're going to keep it on the same line. Okay, now let's say that Henry isn't listed. He's not on the census. Now Henry would have been 19. No, that's wrong. No, that's right. No, that's wrong. He would have been 29, sorry. Math, it's fun. Okay, so he's 29, so it's not a huge surprise that he's not listed with his parents. Maybe we can look for him, around. Maybe he's a neighbor, maybe he lives close by, but it's not a big surprise that he's not with his parents. But we do have a Lizzie Smith. And it says that she was born in 1877, but from this census, we're pretty sure this is the same person. It's close enough. There didn't seem to be another person in here, so we're going to go ahead and put her on the same line. And let's say that David Smith, who's 22, is also missing. He has gone off. He has his own farm, his own wife, his own census record, but they have other children. So let's give them a Robert Smith, born in 1885. And how about what's one that they never spell correctly? We'll just make it easy. Let's do a Lewis Smith that was born in 1892. Okay, jumping forward, we find Oscar on the 1910 census. Okay, so Oscar's here, born 1850. And Oscar has a wife listed. Oscar's wife is listed as Rachel. Rachel being pretty different from Mary Ellen Smith. Rachel's birth year is also listed at 1870. So we're pretty sure that something has happened to Oscar's first wife and Oscar is now remarried, because Rachel 1870, that doesn't match up at all here. So we're actually going to put Rachel on her own line. And we know from the census that she is listed as the wife. She's not listed as some other daughter that had never been listed. Henry didn't become a Rachel. Okay, all of these kids except for Lewis have moved on. Lewis is still there, but they've spelled his name differently. He is spelled like this on this census, and his birth year is the same. Because at this point, I mean, Lewis is only 18. He's at home. He probably can tell you when he was born. And let's say there's another child. We'll do Joseph. And Joseph was born in 1908. So here you have 4 different census records for Oscar Smith. Now this would be something that would be interesting to have in his chapter, because you can see the ways that his family changed. This can also help you make sure that you don't list Elizabeth Smith and Lizzie Smith as 2 different people on Ancestry or in your records, if in fact they're the same person. Same with Lewis and Lewis. It helps you see the difference between the 2 marriages. I really like the way tables lay out information. Again, I guess occasionally you will discover, oh, wait a second, I think this is the same person, even though the names are wildly different. That's when I see a lot of that with little boys who start out with their first name and then they're going by their middle name by the time they're adolescents. So you might make some discoveries with tables. Mostly I just find that tables really corral my brain. So you can see this is how you would use this page. I just showed you on a blank page in case you didn't have this one. But here I'd be using Oscar's index number down here. So I would know that all of these were Oscar. I mean, his name would be in here as well. And then I would just be writing down the year for the census, because it's just for census data. Now, one of the pages I told you I was going to talk about, a new page that's coming out. I am coming out with a page that's a table, because that's one of the things that's been requested, is people want just a blank table. Other people who do this. So it's basically going to be this page, but you're going to have the color bar and you're going to have the index number down here so that you can use it for general things. So because of that, I wanted to show you one more example, not doing census records. So we've got another blank table, blank table. Okay, let me think of another scenario. Let's make up a little girl and let's track her name through different changes. Okay, so maybe we have let's see, we'll do a census. I've got ink on me. Census 1910. And she's listed with her parents. So, what should we name her? We'll name her Dorothy. Dorothy Jones. That she was born. Well, you know what? I'm not actually, in this case, I wouldn't be putting down the birth year because I don't need it to track somebody's name. I mean, you could. I like to have fat spaces in tables so that I can write in whatever information I want, but let's just skip that for now. And let's say that she's living with her parents, Robert Jones and Mary Jones. And we see her, let's do not a census record. Let's do her marriage record. So marriage record 1916. And so let's say she listed again as Dorothy Jones. Her parents are listed as Robert Jones and Mary Jones. Oh, I do that all the time. This is why I like working on the iPad, so that I can just hit the back button and erase whatever I've done. And then let's say she obviously has a spouse on her marriage record, so we're going to call him Herbert Davis, so that I don't have to write a big long last name that I've made up over and over again. And if you wanted to, you could list Herbert's parents. Since I'm tracking Dorothy's name, I don't really care about Herbert's parents right now. That can go in his chapter. And let's say in the 1930 census, we'll jump forward. Say we couldn't find her in the 20s. And she's listed as Dot Davis, because we're tracking name changes. And her parents aren't listed, but we've got Herbert Davis. And I'm going to give them some kids. Judy Davis. Mark That's enough. Judy and Mark can be enough. And then we have, what's something interesting? Something that's not just a census record or a vital record. Let's do a Christmas card because the holidays are coming up. I've got a Christmas card. And the Christmas card is from 1946. And we have Dorothy, and she's listed as something else. Let's say she's listed as dot, anything? Give me a last name. Silver. And Herbert Davis is not listed. She has a different husband. Let's call him Matt. Matt Silver. Judy and Mark are listed without last names. And then we have another child named Betty. So here you have different records for Dorothy Jones showing the evolution of her name and the different places that you found her name. It also kind of shows the evolution of her family. This is not always necessary, but I feel like this is just another way to track information. You can make yourself a different table with more columns, fewer rows, more rows. I mean, I really use tables for so many things when it comes to comparing data. I use them to compare where people lived. I do it a lot to track when children show up and when they disappear because, especially when those kids die between censuses and they just vanish, I think that sometimes it's really helpful to table it out and figure out, okay, did they vanish? Is it a different name or can I find them in a different document? And I do use them a lot for name changes, especially for women. So again, I'm going to be putting a table page out in case you want something that fits. It's so funny because I use tables like this, like blank tables, in my book all the time, and I don't have, it's one of those things where I actually think I have a huge benefit in a weird way because I'm the one that designed the pages. I will occasionally just scribble at the bottom the index number and throw something like this into my notebook, and I don't feel bad about that at all because for me it doesn't matter that they don't match. And I feel like there's more pressure in a weird way for people who are buying the pages because it's like, oh no, they all have to match and they all have to be right, and this is not part of the set. And I think my notebooks are actually probably kind of a hot mess compared to a lot of you. But anyway, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have questions about that, if you have other ideas on how to use tables. I'm hoping that at least one person is going to do this weekend and try it because it is really a lot of fun. And I'm not going to go live over the weekend, but I will see you guys on Monday.